Hey everybody, Matt LaPlante here again. Got another video for you. This one is going to be in the fundamentals of investing series, mainly because this is a question that I get a lot. It's one of the more, as the name denotes, fundamental things you need to understand if you're going to be an investor. And what I'm going to go over is the differences between a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA. We'll call it traditional IRA, traditional 401k, that kind of thing. We're going to call that pre-tax. And then we're going to say the Roth IRA and Roth 401k, we're going to call that post-tax. And I'm going to go over the differences between those two, but more importantly, when is the most ideal times for most people to be using the different types of accounts. So I'm going to jump right into the differences between the two. All right, so we're going to start with the pre-tax portion. So this would be something like your 401k at work or a traditional IRA. And that's what this cup is going to represent. Now, let's say you have some money from your check and you say, I want to invest that money into my 401k at work. Well, you can put all of that money into the 401k and hopefully make some good investments. Things go well and it grows. Ta-da! Hey! We got a pretty good return there, ended up with $100 for that $20 you put in. However, we never paid taxes on that money. So when we pull it out, the government says, or the IRS says, I would like my cut of that money. So the IRS takes their portion of the taxes, and you get this $100 that stays in your pocket that you get to use. So that's how the pre-tax 401k or IRA, traditional IRA works. So we'll clear this off here. And now we're going to assume that this cup is now a Roth IRA or a Roth 401k. And so the difference is you get that same money, but before you can put it into the Roth IRA, you have to pay the tax man first. So you tear that guy, he comes in, it's invested, the same investments, it grows, and hey, you made some good investments, and now when you pull it out, the tax man already got paid before, you get to put that $100 into your pocket, and the tax has already been paid. So that's how are the differences in how a pre-tax and post-tax retirement account work.
All right, so now we're going to go over the second portion of the discussion, which is about when to use the different types of accounts. So I just want to start by saying this is more of a rule of thumb, generalities. This isn't an exact science or an exact representation. You're going to want to talk to whoever does your taxes and knows your tax situation. You want to discuss this with them to get the exact numbers, and that can help plan when to use each one and when they overlap and things like that. So make sure you consult whoever does your taxes and don't take this as the gospel, just more of a generality to understand how to be thinking of this. So this green line, what this green line is representing is your income throughout your life. And so if you look between your 20s and 30s, it's growing, but it's not, you're not getting a lot of raises. It's not as steep. Between your 40s and 60s, you can tell, if you look on here, basically what I'm showing is that's generally when we see incomes really start to rise. Between people's 20s and 40s, usually they're educating themselves, they're gaining skills, they're getting knowledge and connections and making relationships and things like that. And then all this knowledge and skill starts to pay off, and their income starts to rise. They change jobs, they start new careers, they get promotions, all kinds of things, right? And your income typically, that's when it really starts to accelerate. So, and then your 60s on, it really kind of peters out. You may still get some boosts in your income, but not to the extent that you saw back here in your 40s and between 40 and 60. So, what I'm trying to show here is that between your 20s and 40s, as a general rule of thumb, that's when you really want to be considering using the post-tax retirement accounts. And that is because it's not uncommon for someone that's between 20 and 40. Usually they're starting a family or they have a family. They bought a home, their first home, probably at that point. So they have more deductions at that point. And it's not uncommon during this time period for people to be paying little to no income taxes. So they may pay it out and may get it deducted from their check. You may get it deducted from your check each week, but when you file your taxes, you get all of that or most of it back in the form of a refund. So your effective tax rate is zero or close to it. So what that means is, if you think back to the example we were talking about, the difference between these two things, between the post-tax and pre-tax savings, is that with the Roth portion, you're supposed to be paying taxes up front. So if you're paying very little or no taxes up front, it goes into the Roth IRA and grows and gets invested and grows tax-free, and then you get to pull it out tax-free upon retirement. Well, you got almost triple tax exemption in all three areas. You've almost got no taxes that you've paid, or practically anything. That's a pretty good deal. So, and then you'll notice that as you get between your 40s and your 60s, the kids may be moving out, you may have your home paid off, a lot of those deductions start to go away while your income is rising. So what that means is that you need as many deductions as you can. You need to, you're putting it into your 401k on a pre-tax basis, thinking, when I get to my 60s, my income may be significantly lower in retirement because I've been saving so much than it was when I was in my 50s or something, let's say. So what you're really trying to do here is play the tax bracket game, in that you're thinking, hey, in the future, because my income is going up and is so high, I want to pull that money out. I'll be at a lower tax bracket potentially when I'm older. And so the other thing I want to mention is, this doesn't mean this is the only time that you use a Roth versus a traditional, or a post-tax versus a pre-tax. It's just, this is more, again, just trying to show the optimal times for the majority of people that I come in contact with. So some of you also may be saying, well, Matt, I make too much money to contribute to a Roth IRA. I've been told by whoever does my taxes I can't do it. And yes, that is true. You cannot do a Roth IRA if your income is at a certain level, but you can if your 401k has it available, has it as part of it, a Roth 401k. There aren't income restrictions for that. And there's two other areas that I'm not going to really delve into. It's a little bit more advanced. Again, this is more just the fundamentals of investing. But if you have a question about that, the other two deals with converting a pre-tax account to a Roth, and then secondly, if you just want to ask whoever does your benefits at your work, find out if you have something called an after-tax account, and that's going to be attached to your 401k in some manner. And if you have that, you may be able to use there's another strategy. So if you're in that situation and you have more questions, I'd say just give me a call or shoot me an email, and I can walk you through how those work and the way to utilize them. So those are that's the fundamentals of a Roth versus a traditional IRA, what they are, and more importantly, when to use them. So I hope this was helpful, and I'll talk to you guys next time.